They make my world hell. All I mess with is light-skinned girl. I'm in love with a light-skinned girl. Avatar. All I mess with is light-skinned girl. I'm in love with all I mess with a avatar. Yes, I'll buy you a stove. Yes, a refrigerator. Don't care about you haters. I don't care how stupid I look. I have a form and a wall that got me shut. I won't travel across the Atlantic. They goddamn G.I. made me panic. I almost lost a two-game changer, but she turned them down. She want a big ass black ass face. All I mess with is light-skinned girl. I'm in love with a light-skinned girl. Avatar. All I mess with is light-skinned girl. I'm in love with all I mess with a avatar. Yes, I'll buy you a stove. Yes, a refrigerator. Don't care about you haters. Check out you looking stupid. Got a nigga looking crazy. I already knew you were shady. Streaming content is lazy. When a bitch jump on a panel, it get too hot to handle. Superman come to the rescue. A nigga knows that it is true. Sipping hard, oh my god, you make a form animal, right? A motherfucking fantastic fraud. A motherfucking fantastic fraud. Motherfucking fantastic fraud. A motherfucking fantastic fraud. All I mess with is light-skinned girl. I'm in love with a light-skinned girl. Avatar. All I mess with is light-skinned girl. I'm in love with all I mess with a avatar.
Type of shit at all. Have they proven themselves to be anything worthy of deserving your attention?
You're calling me, you just can't call. You just can't call me when you need a nigga to fuck on. You just can't call me when you need a nigga to free. You just can't call me when you need a nigga for money. You just can't call me when you need me on Monday and twice on Sunday. What the hell I look like? What the hell I look like? What the hell I look like, baby? Tell me. Tell me. Tell me. You just can't call a nigga when you need someone to do freeway. You just can't call a nigga when you need someone to bitch to.
Welcome, everybody. This is Coach D. Darrell Spears here once again. I am basically kicking it, had a few days off, been very busy. I know there's a lot of people thinking that I'm stressing and I'm depressed and I'm anxious and I got all kind of issues. But obviously, D. Darrell got a lot on his plate. D. Darrell is making money. D. Darrell is doing his thing as usual. And I have my priorities in order. I wanted to do more content earlier this week. Just got a chance to do my live stream. Man, I'm gonna tell you all, for those that have been watching my Coach D Darrell channel, I got I got a bunch of interviews. I've had hell trying to get these interviews. I got people that I'm interviewing from the continent of Africa, from North America, South America. Man, it has been, the time zone's been crazy. I've been having a hard time getting this stuff organized on top of everything that I'm doing. I had cancellations. It was a headache. It was a headache trying to get these people situated. And so I'm spending a lot of time trying to get that organized and get stuff edited when I have time. Just a lot going on, a lot of stuff that I've been checking out. That other sector want me so bad. They want me so bad. They want me to come back and act like a goddamn ignorant fool, but I'm not. And I want you to know, when I respond, I will respond. But I will choose when I respond, not when you want me to respond. Y'all niggas need to get your life. It's a bunch of Negroes that don't have business, don't have anything going on but to yell, holler, and curse at one another every goddamn day. I don't want any part of that. I have evolved. I've always evolved over that, and that's just not my thing. So I want to get to what I really like to talk about, and we're going to talk about information. We're going to talk about miseducation in this space, about statistics that are utilized to make black women appear worse than what the reality really shows. I'm talking about statistics that, in many instances, I would say embellish upon the worst of our community on both ends, whether it's black men, women, children. I'm talking about how you can manipulate statistics to say whatever you want to create a new narrative. The Manosphere has set has deeply for years misinterpreted information. They don't understand research. Every time you hear somebody quote something, well, the CDC said, blackdemographic.com said, the federal government said. And I'm sitting here listening to these Negroes, and I'm telling you, like, so are you telling me that the CDC doesn't make mistakes? Are you telling me that government agencies don't make mistakes with research? Governments don't have some level of flaw in numbers? I am hypercritical of any institution that only displays a description of any group of people in a negative and they never mention the positive. What's up, Gen Z of the 214? What's up? You obviously from Dallas. I am hypercritical of any research related, educational related, professional institution or organization that does not provide balance as it relates to statistics. Case in point, I had a very spirited, crazy debate with a person by the name of Little Big Nate for years. This Negro sat up here and on panels and lied and said that the CDC said that over 52% of black women have a venereal disease. Did you all hear me? He stated with high confidence that over 50%, 52% of over half of black women have a sexually transmitted disease, STD or STI. And I'm listening to this brother and I'm saying, do you even realize what you're saying? Do you even realize what that means? What kind of medical catastrophe that would be? So if 50%, 2% of let's say black women as their own demographic represents, I'm just going to say black females. We have about 48, I'm going to say on paper, they say we have about 45 million. I say due to error that maybe another 3 to 5 million. But on the conservative side of that, I'm going to say we have about 48 million black. I'm going to say we have about we got about 48 million African American people. There's actually about 2 million more black women or females than men. So out of that 48 million, maybe 50, I would say about 20, let's say 27. I'm sorry, 25%. I'm going to say about 25% almost. I'm going to say about 26 million. I'm going to say 26 million are women and 22 million. I'm sorry, about 20, somewhere around there, about 25, 26 million are women. Let's just go there. Okay. And so you're going to tell me that there's about 13 to 14 million black women that have a venereal disease that have a STI or STD. So who are these women having sex with? So if 23 to 25 million and about 30, let's say about half or over half, I'm going to say about 14 million have a disease. And of that 14 million, and I'm going to say about the majority, I'm going to say maybe 75% of that 14 million are girls that are having sex or sexually active. And that's being, I'm being a little liberal on that. It could be a lot more conservative. That means they're transmitting and they're carrying these diseases and giving it to other men. And I'm going to say at least 80 to 90% of those men are black men. So then if 52% of African American women have a disease, that means that number should be equal or more for black men. And then it also would increase in other groups of people that black women are having sex with. Doesn't that make sense? Let me know if I'm, saying something that doesn't make sense. You see, there's a cause and effect. When we're looking at causality, we have to understand, well, how did they get this disease? And a lot of women got these diseases from men, from black men. So you're not going to talk about, and see, this is letting me know that you don't know how to read research and you don't understand causality. You don't understand correlation. Now, in this case, we're talking about causality as it evolves the relationship between how someone contracted the disease versus them also giving another party a disease. There has to be a relationship. There's no damn way that 52%, or let's say 14 million black females have a disease, and then it does not relate to the men that they're having this disease with, that they're giving this disease to, or they have contracted this disease from a group of men. You see, this is what happens when you don't have a formal education and you're reading shit and you don't understand the fundamentals of research. Every time they quote a research, I ask them, can you give me a standard error of estimate? Meaning, no research is perfect. There are limitations, there are flaws, there's things that did not go as planned. And then there's outside sources of variance that occurs that causes research to tilt one way or the other. But you would have Negroes like 50% of these guys that don't understand that. Most of these guys do not have a college education. Not to say that you need a college education to understand research, but what I will say is that in getting a college education, particularly if you are obtaining a research degree, you will be equipped with the proper knowledge to understand how research works. This is elementary to me. I had a debate about this. I tried to educate them on how research works. Then we want to have an argument about abortion. The Negroes sat there and talked about how Black women participate in over 400,000 to 600,000 abortions every year, 40 million over the last 50 years. Because of my status as a as a mental health professional, as deemed as someone as a healthcare professional and an expert in my field, contacted the CDC myself and talked to their administration about the computation of that data and how it was collected, how the data was collected. Matter of fact, I have receipts on that. I actually gave that to my brother Chaos Rain. He actually created a whole show on my conversation with a CDC representative, and she was not fluid with confidence about those numbers. Matter of fact, she was very hesitant on some of the questions as it relates to the outcome of that data. When in all actuality, when you really read the abortion stats actually talk about the fact that white women have far more abortions than any group of people. Black women, percentage wise, based on our percentage of the total population, which is about, I'm going to say we have about about 14 million black women. I'm going to say somewhere around 20, I'm going to say about 24, 25 million black women. I mean, black females. I'm sorry, about 20, 25 million black females, but about half of that are black. I'm talking 18 years and over. I don't want to hear anything from a CDC government agency that is basically embellishing on the numbers by adding teenagers 15 years and older. A 15-year-old is not a woman. A 16-year-old is not a woman. A 17-year-old, even if she has a year left, is not deemed a woman legally in this country. I don't want to hear any bullshit about legal consent in certain states. That is only relative to that state. I'm looking at things in its totality as it involves the nation itself, because these are national statistics. There's a difference between the total number of occurrences versus the percentage of the people. Also, as I talked and researched, we have to understand that a large percentage of our women and men receive healthcare services from government-funded healthcare organizations, percentage-wise higher than other groups of people, particularly in the South. But can we account for it? See, let me show you how you can manipulate a statistic. They can say Black women make up 60% of abortions in a poor southern state like South Carolina or Mississippi. But they will never say white women make up 90% of the abortions in Washington State, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, where it's overwhelming white women. Now, you see the difference? You see the difference? There's a difference. A state that has a higher density of Black people versus a state that has a lower density. But they'll never say, these worshipers of just pasty, they'll never talk about the difference. You see that statistics? Matter of fact, let's use a state like Kentucky or West Virginia. They'll never say that white females make up 75% of abortions and also women with venereal diseases in those states. But they will sit there and quote, well, in the state of New York, Black women make up this, and the Pookies and the Ray Rays make up this. No, it's a difference between state-related statistics and national statistics. And again, in all statistics, there will be a standard error of estimate, a flaw in errors that will happen. No statistic is flawless. Now let's get to my favorite one. my favorite research that they love to quote. My favorite research, this is the one I love to as you can see here, blackdemographics.com. This is my favorite one I love to debate. This is my favorite one. You know why this is my favorite one? Because this is the one they love to debate the most, and it actually has not been updated in 5 fucking years. And this research on blackdemographics.com has not been updated in almost 5 goddamn years. And this is the holy Bible to the Manosphere. Let me repeat. This is the holy Bible. This website is the holy Bible to the Manosphere. If you look at any, and I'm going to say any channel, randomly go to any channel, I guarantee you, and I say this with confidence, that somebody will mention and quote irresponsibly a statistics from blackdemographic.com. What's up, Miss T. Pre? How you doing, baby? What's up, Shatera? I see Miss Queen in here. I see Miss Carrie Ann, B-Dub Boogie, Miss Tanya Sweat. We got people in here. What's up, LV? My opinion. I appreciate people who have followed me to this channel. And I also want to rest assured that D-Darrell the Rebirth Live will be the main channel. And when I go live, this will be more of a channel to allow you all to go to that channel. That channel, D-Darrell Live, is no longer an Umar Johnson sector channel. The channel would be an extension, would be the main channel from this point on, and this will be a satellite to that channel. And the reason why I'm doing this is because this particular channel is still connected to the email address of my old channel, D-Darrell, that was taken down in 2020. And I'm not allowed to use a lot of all I can do is stream on this channel. I can't use all the other tools to grow the channel. This was more of my throwaway channel. Now I'm using it just to advertise, to route you to my Coach D-Darrell channel and this channel itself. Shout out to Miss T. Pre for the truth. I know Miss T. Pre looking forward to the 23rd. That bank account gonna be looking nice. And niggas hating it. And that's fine with me. So let's get back to business. Now, when we're looking at blackdemographics.com, this is about the African American population. This website or this organization has been established since 2007. They're actually young. They only been around for 16 years. Okay? They only been around for 16 years. This is not an old organization. You see, for myself, because I understand real research. Okay? I understand real research. And I use psychological or sociological journals. I'm talking about the Psychological Bulletin, Psychological Review, or I may use information from APA or ACA. I may use information from the Substance Abuse Mental Health Association or the American Psychiatric Association, the Journal of Social Psychology, the Journal of Abnormal Psychology. There's a Journal of Family Studies. I'm using journals. If I really want to do real research, the most credible research are sources that are in college libraries. And that's just the facts. Look, I am not trying to downplay blackdemographics.com, but it's not the most reputable source. But let these Negroes tell it. It's the be-all, end-all when it comes to black people. Now, what I can say about blackdemographic.com, it exclusively speaks on the black community, which you won't find in these journals, at least some of them, because there are journals of African American studies. You won't find many journals, and you can look at the American, Black Psychological Association, BPA, and they have their own studies. LV say, D, let me hold something, huh? Hey, man, if you monetize and you want to speak on D-Darrell in a favorable manner, I'm going to make it seem like Christmas on that day. I'm gonna just put it like that. If you monetize, I want these niggas to see it. I want niggas to get mad. You got niggas saying, you could have gave me that money. You could have gave me that money. No, nigga. You sitting around on a 3-hour break, cursing and yelling at people instead of getting your ass to work. That's the difference between a nigga like me who got 13, 14 employees working for me that I can do what I do, and a nigga like you doing what you doing, arguing with people thousands and thousands of miles away from where you at. Let's get back to business. Now, blackdemographic.com. One of the things they want to talk about the most is black marriages. My God, if I got to hear about black marriages from niggas who ain't married, let me repeat, I've never been in a situation where I've heard people talk about marriage and nobody's married. Nobody is married. Absolutely no one. Dr. Nikki, I got to hit you up later. What's up, Shannon B? No one everybody that's talking about marriage, no one is married, but they want to tell you about marriage, and nobody is married. Absolutely no one. And then the men who are married, like myself, like BMT, and some others, and like also Amiri Brown. Let's see who else there's up in there. There's a few other people that are married. When we try to tell these Negroes how to treat a woman and how a man functions in a marriage, they try to shun me out the conversation. This was one reason I left the Manosphere back in 2020. And I went to the Umar sector. Because I got tired of Negroes miseducating. Shit, who is Edward Anderson married to? That's a Will Lamb shit. There's no way in hell I believe that Edward Anderson is married. That nigga is the biggest incel in the space and the biggest crybaby in the space. Ain't no way a married man, unless his wife just withholding from his ass, ain't no way in hell this man married. As much as he cry about black women. Nah. Yeah. They laughing. Edwin Anderson is the biggest incel. All of BGS supporters are heavy incels. Now, let's look at this. I want you all to take a look at they got all these goddamn ads on here. This is, they got all these damn ads, so it kind of messes up the presentation. But they got to make their money. This is what they talk about. Over the past few decades, marriage has been declining institution in all of America, and this decline is even more evident in the black community. In 2020, only 30% of African Americans are married, compared to 40% of all other Americans. Half or 50% of African Americans have never been married, compared to 34% of all Americans. Now, again, we're making the point that only 30% of African Americans get married, and they talk about 50% have never been married. But see, there's a caveat to that. One of the reasons that statistic has been measured as such is because African American people, on average, get married in their late 20s to early 30s, as opposed to other groups getting married in their early to mid 20s. See, they don't tell you that part. One of the reasons is when they're when they're measuring the data, they're not accounting for the fact that those people who are not married in their early 20s, particularly if you're black, They may be married by the time they're in their late 20s or early 30s, as opposed to other communities. They're probably already married, engaged, or getting or basically with someone that they're going to get married in the next couple of years. So because African Americans get married a lot later, it skews the data as if these people are never going to get married. The proper way to measure this is to facilitate a longitudinal style research report or research study that measures adults in their early 20s up until probably their mid to their late 20s to early 30s, and to see the percentage of African American men and women who were not married in their early 20s who are now married in their early 30s or late 20s. There's a difference. We all understand that in other communities, particularly in rural white America, they may get married in between 18 and 20. African Americans we don't practice that as a culture. But see, if you look at raw numbers, it will create a perception as if Black people just don't want to get married. Now, there's also other variables that contribute to why African Americans don't get married and they wait longer. One of the reasons why African Americans wait longer is because they're not fine. It takes us on average longer to be financially stable enough to be married. Other groups of people become richer and financially stable quicker than us. They don't have the same social issues to deal with. We don't have the infrastructure that they have. We don't have the businesses. We don't have control of institutions. So because we don't have these safety nets, our community takes longer to get their education. They take longer to get certifications. They take longer to be financially astute enough to be eligible for marriage, for people who have sense that want to get together and really build. It takes us longer to build wealth. For myself, I got married at the age of 27 years old. I got married in my late 20s, mid-late 20s. I was married at 27. Okay? I didn't get married as soon as I graduated out of college. And let's say a year or two later, I got a six-figure job. So I'm getting married at 24, 25 years old. No. It didn't happen that way. So we have to account for other dynamics that contribute to the percentage and not just rely on raw numbers. But see, you look at blackdemographics.com, you see everything here. And this is the thing that the Manosphere does. This whole thing about comparing and contrasting what Black women do and what white and Black men do as if they're exclusive, when actually it's all, linked to one another. The relationship of Black men getting married and not being married is also contingent upon the decisions of Black women also wanting to get married or not. What's up, Skizzy215? Is that a troll? What's up, Will I Am? He's saying that USBN. No, I'm not shaming, blaming, and explaining. I'm educating. I'm trying to educate people to understand when numbers are presented to you, you cannot just draw strictly from that number without giving it context. And if numbers without context don't mean anything, they're just numbers. You're allowing yourself to be easily fooled. Skizzy215 say no troll here. I get you. I get you. Make sure you all that are new to the channel subscribe to D Darrell Live, D Darrell the Rebirth Live, and also you can also subscribe to this channel. Let's get my numbers up. I need to get my little numbers up. I want to get my D Darrell the Rebirth Live monetized. I got over 749 subscribers. I want to get at least 200 to 300 in the next three or 4 months so I can be monetized. Okay. I just wanted to put that there for a second while I look at something. Please subscribe to Coach D. Darrell Spears. I talk about relationships and I talk about dating. My channel is dating coaching that can lead to successful relationships. I'm not here to teach game, and I'm not here to teach. I'm trying to get ass. Our community has too much of men running around pumping and dumping women, getting women pregnant, and not thinking about marriage in mind. And our community has too many women that are allowing themselves to be pump and dump, and they're opening their bodies to men who don't mean them any good at all. So I'm about teaching productive relationships that are long lasting. Now, back to the topic. Here again. Okay. 30% of black men are married. 27% of black women are married. I'm sorry. I wrote that wrong. 30% of black people, period, are married. So that means that basically 3 out of 10 black people, period, adults are married. Now, there's 6% more African-American men who are married than women. So it says 33% of black men are married, 27% of black women are married. Now, these fools will read this raw statistic and act like 33% compared to 27% is significantly different. And it's not. 6% is not what we consider significant research. That is not a significant. Now it's a higher. It's a higher level. Black men are 6% higher to be married, but it's not significantly different. It's moderate. But these Negroes will sit here and act like that 33% is gold. They will act like this statistic, like this 33%. They act like the 33% is the national average, which is 48%. They actually act like the 33% is actually like 55% or it's over. Like these black men are just wanting marriage at a high level, and these poor black women just want to be out here thotting it up and having children out of wedlock. And this is not the case. The reason why this number is higher, and let me give context once again. The context is that black men date outside of their race at a significantly higher rate than black women. Most statistics will show that black men are, I think it's the second most likely group of men to marry outside their race, particularly if they have a college degree or higher. 33 to 40%, 30 to 35% of African-American men who have a college degree or higher are more prone to date women and marry women outside of their race, particularly white women in general. And we're the only group of men that have that distinction. That is the reason as black men are the second most likely to marry outside the race, black women are the second to most likely not date or marry outside of their race. You see the distinction there? You see the contrast? You're looking at black men and black women. Black men are more likely. They're like second. I'm gonna say second or third, but they're definitely the top three. Black women are second to white men to most likely not marry outside of their race or date. That's a difference. Now, I want to give a little further context because over the last 5 years, there has been a noticeable increase around 7% of black women marrying and dating outside of their race. So there has been a trend of black women becoming more open to marry other groups of men and not hold this loyalty to black men. So I will be very interesting and enthusiastically waiting for research in the upcoming years or something. I don't think there's any. The most recent research shows that, but in the next couple years, see if that trend is short term or long term. Because if that trend is long term, black women will no longer be the second to most likely not marry. They'll probably be in the middle. Even though that 7% has increased, it's still not nearly as high as white women, Asian, and Hispanic women, because Hispanic women are most likely to marry and date outside their race than any other. Women and Asian women are second. That's just the facts. And that's just the facts. We're putting percentages, we're looking at things in context. We're not just looking at raw numbers. Now, what the Manosphere will focus on, you see 33%, they act like that 33% is gold. That is embarrassing. It is embarrassing as a community that 30% of our people get married. And then you got 50% that will never get married. This is nothing to brag about. Again, the behavior of black men is also interrelated to the behavior of, the behavior of black men is interrelated to the behavior of black women. I'm sorry, well, Asian women are number one, but I know that depending on the research, who does the research, some say it's only about a few percentages, but that neck and neck per se. But the problem with that, there's not a large population of Asian women. Now, there's a large percentage of Hispanic women, but not Asian women. So even though that may be higher percentage, the occurrences as you look at things in the normal social aggregate, you're going to see far more Hispanic women because there's a far larger population of Hispanic women that are dating men outside of their race than you see Asian women, because there's the populations themselves are highly, there's a huge range in between. You know, we have about I'm going to say about 65 million, about 60 million, 55 to 60 million Hispanic people. And half of that is women. So as opposed to about, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 million Asians, that's a difference. So you're going to see far more Asian, you're going to see far more Hispanics than Asians. But because I'm looking at occurrences, not necessarily the average, because the average is relative to the population base. And the Asian community does not have a large population base. Okay. So I just wanted to make points as I'm going to wrap up a little bit. And I wanted to point out this is what they talk about. These are the statistics. Now you're looking at married. Black men, black people 30%, Hispanics 43%, white 52%, Asian community 58%. We're at the bottom of that. Okay? We're at the bottom. They talk about interracial marriages. They talk about 15% of black men were married to non-black women. That's a high percentage. Okay? As opposed to 7% of black women were married. But this was back in 2017. This was 6 years ago. Okay? Now, I will give further context because I want to talk about these numbers. Because we need to start discussing what these numbers really mean. Because they will never be genuine, but some of them just out of pure ignorance don't understand what the numbers mean. Now, another statistic that I want to talk about, because I want to spend my time talking about the fallacy of 80% of black women are head of household. And that's not true either. How the hell 87% are head of household when 27% is married? So that means that 73%, and even of that 73%, half of those households, there is a man living there, they're not married, because we cohabitate at a high percentage without marriage than most groups. Again, we have to put things into context, into perspective, and not create confirmation bias. So, guys, I do have to get out of here, unfortunately. I do have some places I have to do, take care of some business. I did enjoy talking to you all today. Again, guys, I want you all to please subscribe to my Coach D. Darrell Spears channel, and also subscribe to D. Darrell The Rebirth Live, which was formerly D. Darrell Sector TV. That channel, D. Darrell The Rebirth Live, is a Manosphere adjacent channel. Okay? So definitely check it out. I will be putting content over there. I will be routing people to that channel. This channel will be utilized once I get things really going over there to just advertise, to route people to go to certain places. Y'all have a great day. This is Coach D. Peace.